Hello and welcome back to Kaizen, a factory story. What are we up to today? A color television, my goodness. I remember when a color television was a must-have for every family on the block. That's right. We call it the three C's. Call, cool, color television. Today, almost everyone has all of them. That's true. It's not the sign of progress it used to be. Makes you wonder what the future of televisions are. Is it just bigger and better screens? It's bigger and better screens for sure, but also more screens. Some families are getting second television sets already. That makes sense. Perhaps in the future, everyone in the household will have their own personal television set to use as they like. That certainly would have resolved a lot of arguments when I was growing up. Alright, so we got a huge screen. Wowza. We got a little bit of a speaker here. We're going to have two dials. Two small dials, two big dials. And then we need vertical frame and horizontal frames. I see. Okay. I see. So I think this set needs to kind of be made together. And then I think what I want to do here is immediately rotate that out of here. Okay, hold up. But with a riveter. Shit. I would want the riveter to be that way though. And I don't think we can go over the welder, right? Oh, we can. Okay. But that'll immediately weld to that, which we don't want. What about the other way? Forget the welder for a second. That flips it there. Okay. Okay. No, I think this is workable. We'll do that. Flip that. We immediately have this. And then all we'll need at the end, assuming this is even, 3, 6, 9, 12. Fuck, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I was gonna say way at the end. I could have that. Which I guess I can, kind of. I can, kind of. I'll make that work. What do I do with these? Well, these... Okay, relax. I'm getting complicated here. I think I need a welder there. I feel like I want a welder over here too, but That's going to make things complicated. I mean, C is simply going to push twice. You don't need to grab. And then pull back, right? Like your job is simply that, okay? And I can put a welder up here, and then I can put one final little D push right there. You see? And like that's got everything. That's got everything where I want it. This needs to be later. All I would need now... Actually, I have an idea. Let's move all this down one. C retracts. Stop. To get that on there. And then C will pull -1, and then C will track. Nah, this is going to get in the way. Well, let's visualize it first and just see where we're at with all this. Oh, those didn't get welded. Shit. Okay. So that's that. Which is close to okay. And then what happens when it flips? It does that. That's fine. Okay. This is okay, right? Oh shit. I meant to copy. Okay. That's what I meant to do. And then get that out of there. While that's getting out of there, do I just do an A shove? Maybe. This welder is gonna fuck up. Yeah. I think that's fixable. I can't tell you how. But I think it is. Can I simply make that a bit longer? No, without C being in the way. Damn you, C. Okay. I know there are different ways to do this. Like I could flip this onto the thing. That's obviously an opportunity. But that's not really what I want to do, right? What if I shove it in from the bottom and then do the flipping after? Let's just delete E altogether. No, you would have to completely reconstruct that. Damn, okay. This has become a little bit tricky, huh? What if the screen's over here? Get out of the way for now. And then at that point, I could weld those two together. But I still need to find a way to push it into the frame. And obviously arm A can push, but that doesn't work with the welding situation. Does that have to be a welder? It's going to be the same either way. I was thinking if I put a riveter here, but it's going to be the absolute same either way. So A cannot push because that'll immediately bring out a new side piece that'll get welded on. I have a wild idea. but I don't think it's a good one. I was wondering, what if I added like an extra piece, like an extra dial over here, and then used that to shove it in, and then cut it off at the end. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. Can B move quickly enough? On a track. That this doesn't happen. Kind of. It can only go 3 spaces, which is fine. I need 4 more spaces, which I think might be what the other track system was allowing me. Like that. That's done it. Now, there's an issue here. Welds happen automatically. So I don't know when. I think I need a B nudge here. Can I B nudge with I can't B nudge and grab, unfortunately. So that's no use. I need B to push 1 and grab, and then -1, right? And I'm going to put a welder up there. Weld, and then pull it back. And then flip. This is unreal. And then flip. And then -1. And then flip again. Unfucking real. Okay. I'm curious. I'm very curious how this all stacks up to what other people are doing, because this feels like such overkill. But there it is. My goodness. So sometimes I like to do the walkthroughs of how these things are working, but I haven't been doing that a lot this series. But so we have the 2 pieces of the frame are here together. A is going to flip them. So these will weld together instantly. A will flip them so that the top piece can be added. Meanwhile, C is shoving the big dial down so that a second big dial can come in. D is poking the small dial forward so a second dial can come in. Okay? So now I got the 2 dials welded together. The small dials welded to the speaker welded to this first big dial. C is going to retract to allow the second dial to come in. They get welded together. This is now one complete solid piece here. C is going to take that complete solid piece, pull it back, which is going to weld all the controls and the speaker to the screen. Now, B is going to grab the frame, pull it to the right, at the same time that E shoves the display and the controls all together to the left, and they will simply come together. Okay? Now we have to connect these somehow, and I didn't see any way. Like if I put a riveter at any point along here, it's already hitting. It's going to happen as soon as. Well, no, these are kind of instant, right? Let me shove a riveter there and see what happens, because that might actually. Yeah, the weld happens after, so these can actually be deleted. This can be deleted. I'm glad I walked through this. So they all get shoved together. That rivet hits. B flips it so it can go get the other frame. And then it simply moves it back to hit that frame. I don't see a way to. I was looking to see if I could save a time stamp here. But I can't give them two commands at the same time. That's illegal, right? So yeah, it seems like that has to be 2 time units. A could push it, but then there's no welder. You know, I could add a second welder here, and that would add $5 to the cost, but save me a time unit. And I don't know that that's worth doing. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And that's my little colored TV. Beautiful. Norita's son told me that in the future television would have over 500 channels, so you can always find something to watch. I've heard of something similar. I don't know. Even if technology makes it possible, it's hard to imagine what that many channels would even broadcast. You might have entire channels dedicated to specific interests. That's right. There would be a garden channel, or a pottery channel, or a mahjong channel. I'd watch television again if there was a fishing channel. What were you watching this glorious 500 channel future, David? I don't know. Maybe there was a show about how to assemble television in an optimal way. Still thinking about work, huh? Yeah, oh, somebody's even getting it down lower on time. I could move it down to 6 by raising the cost. But I'm pretty happy, you know. I'm a little bit worse than the majority, as usual, but I'm relatively happy with it, honestly. Video recorder will be next, but we're at the 25-minute mark. This was another single episode, which is what we were kind of looking for. And yeah, I'm going to just say goodbye, and I'm going to do the video recorder immediately after. Take care. Bye-bye.